Let's do this.
I'm just playing. That was stupid. Good morning, guys. Good morning, everyone. And welcome to Daily Devotion with Beez. I am your host, Beez the Chaplain. Now, I'm just checking to see that everything is working because the reason why is because yesterday I made the mistake of, if you're on Instagram Live, hey, good morning, Thames. Hey, good morning, both of you. Oh man, Google Assist. Hey. Anyway, the reason why I messed up hard yesterday is because on Instagram Live we were going good and things were okay, but on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch Live, I use an app called StreamYard. Now, StreamYard is an app that kind of compiles, like in one recording studio or one recording place. You can have overlays, you can have all these kind of things, but then it broadcasts to multiple platforms. I made the mistake of keeping the mute button on. So Instagram got the feed yesterday, but everyone who was live on Facebook and YouTube and Twitch, you got me just miming everything. So I had to take it down. I ended up taking it down. But if you want to check out the devotion, the COVID devotion yesterday, if you're wanting to check out the COVID devotion for the people who are Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch Live, go to my Instagram account. I think it's BDOJ or Beezoosh. Check it out, and you'll catch up. Because it was mainly about wrapping up the year. And a piece of advice or a word of advice and encouragement that my old college professor gave me before I left college, which really humbled me, but at the same time really helped me out. Okay, back to the Instagram lives and the place where I usually do my COVID devotions. We're all good today. Today I titled, here we go. We've got I love to game says hi, I love to game. You're on Twitch. I just want to say welcome. Thanks for joining me. If you're a student at Mac, that's awesome. It means that yesterday all the plugin that I did paid off. But also Karen, good morning. Good morning, babe. Thanks for joining me on YouTube Live. I'm going to get straight into the devotion. Today I titled this devotion, Not Just a Nice Sentiment. Not just a nice sentiment. And the reason why is because yesterday and the day before, it kind of wrapped up the final week of, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday kind of wrapped up the final week of me being chaplain at MacArthur Adventist College for the second time around. And it was interesting because some of the students, I was like, hey, keep in touch. I was like, now that I'm not a chaplain at the school anymore, technically you can keep in contact with me because I know that a number of you are going to churches in the Greater Sydney Conference. So technically I'm allowed as a pastor to keep in touch with you as a youth pastor. So it still works. So then at the last day or the last week, I started saying, hey, this is how you can keep in contact with me, whatever. So I started doing that. And the reason why is because and they were like, and I said to them, keep in touch. And they're like, yeah, thanks, sir. Thanks for letting me know. Thanks. No worries. And there was a few young men that I journeyed with, and I gave them one of the, I'm plugging everything to say, this is the Kinsman Redeemer, which is a material I guess it was the framework for a men's or young men's fraternity program. And basically it just encourages over a year journey how a young man can be supported and help and develop and grow and stuff like that. And it was really awesome. Glad to know I love to game is from Mac. Shout out. So to plug the work. So when I said to people, I love to game, when I said, keep in touch, it was not just a nice sentiment. I was intentional. And the reason why I said this, and this is what for me, today's COVID devotion is about, how it says, Paul says, I planted the seed, then Apollos watered it, but God made the whole thing mature. sometimes we try and limit, or sometimes I think about it, it's like, that's the only opportunity I will ever be able to connect with that person. You know, you hear that age-old saying, or you hear the age-old, line, hey, you might be the only Jesus that person will experience for that day. That's absolutely true, but I think there's a portion missing, which it's not that is the only time that you will ever be able to be Jesus to that person, in that person, or your lifetime. No, I don't believe that. And I think sometimes we just bank and put so much pressure on that I was here for this one time. I think God, in his mercy, in his compassion, his understanding, and his grace, has given us so many opportunities for us to keep in touch with each other. So, and today is also, I want to share like a story of gratitude. And the reason why is because, the week before, on Saturday, this is where the journey comes together. Because, I told you that Mac, like this year, was my second time at Mac. My first time was back in 2013. 2013-14, I was able to journey with students then that I still keep in contact with today. There was a brother back, and you're probably going to watch this, Rome. This one's a shout out to you. I met Jerome back in 2012, and he was in year 12. And I said to him, hey, man, keep in contact. And his younger sister, Charisse, hey, shout out, Charisse. She was also at the school, as well as the rest of the fam that was there. Shout out Keisha, Tyrone, O'Shea, Gongye, all you guys. Much love to you guys. They were all at the school, and I said, hey, keep in touch. And it wasn't just a nice sentiment; it was for real. And it was funny enough that the following year, over the next couple of years, I stayed in touch with Super Fridays and with like youth events. I knew that Rome was talented in music and stuff like that. So, sorry, I'm just getting a call. I'll call back. I knew that Rome was talented and wanted to be involved. So I was like, yeah, let's jam together and stuff like that. We did Storm Coast together and local mission trips, and we stayed in touch. And he ended up being like one of my closest friends. Yeah, sure, that there is a big difference, big age gap between us. But the thing is, 2 years ago, no, last year and the year before that, when I didn't have any support at Redfern, when I was the center manager at Redfern, Rome and Charisse were there. They were the ones that had my back. They were the ones that were supporting my ministry. They were the ones that came at the cafe every Thursday, for that 2 years, and supported me in that ministry. And the funny thing is, it wasn't me about, hey, keep in touch for you, Jerome, or you, Charisse. It's, hey, keep in touch because we've got a solid relationship here. And ultimately, iron will sharpen iron. It's not, I will keep in touch so I can support you every single step of the way. It's no, I will keep in touch because I know there will come a time that you will minister for me and to me, for the sake of my ministry and what you're doing for God. God's going to reflect, and you're going to be a reflection of Jesus Christ in your life to me, to support me. It's not just me being about a nice guy, a nice friend, and the chaplain to Jerome back in the day that I'm still ministering. No, it works both ways. And so for me, it's not just a nice sentiment. Now, the passage that I'm going to refer to is, the passage that I'm going to refer to is found, and it's not specific passages or verses. It's just two verses that I'd like to kind of paint a story around. Now, this is Acts chapter 16, verse 19, and then also Acts chapter 16, verse 19, and then Acts chapter 18, verse 5. And so this is what it says. Acts chapter 16, verse 19 says, when the owners of the slave girl realized that their hope was making money was gone, they seized Paul and Silas and dragged them into the marketplace to face the authorities. Just to highlight that there was a season of time where Paul and Silas did life together. That Paul called Silas and said, hey man, we got to do some ministry. We got to go and do some work. Go and build a kingdom for God. And work and have God use them both in tandem, like to do God's ministry, spread the gospel. Then in verse 18, in Acts chapter 18, verse 5, it says this: when Paul and Timothy came from Macedonia when Silas and Timothy came from Macedonia, Paul devoted himself exclusively to preaching, testifying to the Jews, and that Jesus was the Christ. And I'm just going to end it at that. The reason why I wanted to highlight those two passages or those two verses is because there was a period of time that Paul and Silas did work together. Then there was a gap. And then in that other passage that I mentioned, it says, then Silas and Timothy returned to Macedonia where Paul was. So there was also a period where they weren't doing life together. They weren't doing ministry together, that they went on their separate paths and they went on their separate journeys. But then at a later stage, it's just so happened, right? Whether it was God's will, whether it was, whether it was the plan, whether it was leading, whether it was, they came together and they started doing work again. They reconnected, and continued to do ministry and continued to do life together. So for me, the reason why I'm saying to these, the reason why I'm putting it out there and say, hey, let's keep in touch, is because on Saturday, right, I had the honor and the privilege, and I had to represent the fam to go and celebrate Jerome's graduation. Homie got Jerome, congratulations, so proud of you, my brother. Graduated from the police force. I think he either started on Monday or he's starting next week. But that's the thing, like for me to be part of that journey and part of that experience. Sure, there were times when I think he bounced to Orange or Dubbo or something like that, and there were a few years that we kept in touch and touched base. But there were also seasons of life that we actually did life together in Redfern, and I look forward to where God is placing, or God's going to move us, because he's in the police academy, or he's in the police force, and next year I'm going to be prison chaplain. So I know our paths are going to cross next year. And I'm looking forward to that. So to the young people, where I said, keep in contact, I know, unfortunately, the reality also is that I actually, when I was at MacArthur first time, a couple of years later, I had to go to court because, a couple of the brothers got into some trouble and they needed a character reference and they needed a support person. And I was once again honored to step into that role as chaplain and support person for them. So it's not just a nice sentiment. It's, for me, God is not saying just because I was here in this season of your life, that's the end of it. For me, God is telling me, hey man, you don't know. I know, but you don't. So you know what? Remain faithful to me, and just also put yourself out there, just to say, okay, now that the relationship's over, done and dusted, close the book, close the chapter, game over for you, best of luck. Nah, for me, it doesn't work that way. For me, if God had given me the opportunity to support someone in their time of need, or be a reflection of Christ, or show Christ, or encourage someone to draw closer to Christ because of my experience in that season, it also means that he has the potential and the capacity to do it for me again, or in me and through me again, for that person. It's not exclusively limited to 2021. So for the youngsters that I said, hey, keep in touch. I'm telling you, if you need a character reference, if you need a job reference, if you need a mentor, if you need someone to help you develop in regards to spiritual growth, I'm putting myself out there, and it's not just a nice sentiment. I'm saying that these are the relationships that I'm happy to build that will last a lifetime. Now I can say, I can celebrate the fact that, the relationship that I have with Rome, we're going on 10 years, like nearly 10 years that I've known him, and it's not just me ministering to him. It's been over that 10 years, the brother has supported me, and it was part of the catalyst, or was part of the team that God used to save my ministry. So it's not just a one-way thing. It's iron sharpens iron. So that's why I'm saying, hey, stay in touch, because we don't know what's going to happen down the line. We could be working together in the field. We could be working together in building the kingdom. I might need your support. You might need mine. Let's keep in touch. So I hope that, for the people that are alive, for all the MacArthurs, this is a shout out. This is a shout out to I'm gonna say the MacArthur, the MacArthur family, the staff and the students that I put myself out to, that I said, hey, keep in touch. You know my details now. Keep in touch because yeah, I don't know where God's going to lead us, but I look in hopeful anticipation and joyful anticipation that we will reconnect and we can do life together once again. Everyone else, hey, if I've never met you yet or whatever, hey, reach out to me and we can start that now. We can start that journey now. Yeah, I'm closing a word of prayer. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for the opportunity that we can come together and celebrate you. Lord, I want to say thank you so much for 2021, where I was able to return to MacArthur and be a blessing. No, not be a blessing, but have you work through me as a vessel so you could be a blessing through me. And Lord, I just pray that when I said, keep in contact, keep in touch, that it's not just a nice sentiment, that the seed is planted so later on down the track we can unite, we can celebrate, we can reconcile, we potentially can do work together and do life together as well. Lord, I pray that we continue to build these relationships, continue to encourage and motivate one another as the day of your return approaches. So Lord, I pray in eager anticipation for the further relationships that you establish in 2022 and the ones that you maintain and grow from 2021 as well. Be with us now. I ask this all in your loving name. Amen. So for the youngsters that are on Instagram that I messaged this morning, or I kind of did a post this morning, none of yous came. You're going to get it from me. Make sure you watch it. Thank you so much for joining me on Instagram Live, Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube Live for Daily Devotion with Beez. I am your host, Beez the Chaplain. I will see you tomorrow at 9 o'clock for another Daily Devotion. I'm slowly getting into the habit of no longer calling it COVID Devotions, but Daily Devotions now as we're moving into a new season. Yeah, but in the meantime, have a great day. Stay safe, stay blessed. Peace out. Much love. Bye. Hey, I love to game. If you're still online, I want you to do me a favor and just message me like your name, just so I can reach out. And by the way, for the students, I'm just, if you guys want to leave, you can leave. Well, no one else is on anyway. For the ones that said, hey, I'm going to be there, sir. I'm going to check blah, 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 blah. And I said, I'm going to give you merch when the merch comes. Hey, this is skating on thin ice, guys. Come on, get into it. Anyway, I'm just playing. All right. Have yourselves a great day. God bless.